It's time now for the award-winning #1 local talk show in Northeast Pennsylvania, The Sam Lesante Show. Now here's your host, Sam Lesante.
Welcome to The Sam Lesante Show, folks. Today, a very interesting show pertaining to protecting yourself, okay? You know, it's funny. We are a giving area, and we're compassionate, but people take advantage, and they're called scams. Am I hoping that when we're done with today's show, you could be a little bit more aware of what's happening in scams? If you recall, a while back, we had a show with Trooper Anthony Petroski, who is the Public Information Officer, Troop N here, and the hospital, the High Valley Health Network, was here talking about scams. Well, I wanted to bring Anthony back, okay? And let me tell you what happened. This is short notice for him coming in. Yesterday morning, maybe around 7:30, 8 o'clock, I received a call at my home. And it was a young boy, and he was crying. He says, "Grandpa," he said, "I was just in a serious accident. I went through, I wasn't at fault, but however, someone went and hit me, and I need your help, okay?" I didn't know who else to call. I said, "Well, are you okay?" He said, "Yeah, it was Matthew." I said, "Matthew, okay." I said, "Well, I'm not your grandpa, but tell me what happened." He said, "Well, here's the problem. I'm in a holding cell, and didn't the attorney call you? He was supposed to call you." I said, "No, just a second, Matthew." I said, "First of all, you said grandpa. Second of all, you know, I don't have a Matthew as a grandson." And then I said, "Well, it's in this interest," and then he hung up. Bingo! I said to myself, wait a minute. This is part of the scams that's going on. And I said, let me call Tony up, Trooper Petroski, and say, "You got to come on to talk about this, okay?" And it's interesting, it happened to me, okay?
Right. Yeah.
And so it's let's talk about that loved one. Now, some people who are seniors maybe are so shaken up, whatever, that they don't know if it is or not. They're just, we want to help. Tell me about that loved one scam.
Yeah, and this is the most common scam that we have going on right now. It's called the loved one scam. And what happens is you receive a phone call, and it will be somebody either acting as if they are the grandchild, but more commonly we see it somebody saying, "Your grandson or granddaughter is in trouble. They were in an accident, they got arrested, and they need your help." So it's somebody else talking, and they may say they're in jail, they need your help. They only got one phone call, they wanted us to contact you. So then as soon as a lot of grandparents hear grandson and granddaughter, that's it. They'll throw everything they can their way, right? So now you get the blood pumping, the adrenaline's going, they think, "Oh, my grandson, my granddaughter, they're in trouble. I need to help them." So they'll say, "Hey, listen, we could probably let them go if you give some bail money. But you don't have to drive down. And listen, don't talk to anybody. We know it's embarrassing. Don't talk to any friends or other family members because you're going to shake up the whole family." And what happens is they'll say, "Do me a favor, put $1,000 in cash in your mailbox, tell us the address, and we'll come up and pick up that cash, and then we'll send him or her on their way." And so people think about it, and they're smooth talkers, and they think, "Well, I'll help them out," and they do this. And this has happened in our area, in the Hazleton and surrounding communities. What's worse than that, Sam, is this. They're actually sending couriers to the house to pick up the money. Now that tells us a couple things. Number one, this is an organization who's doing this, and number two, they're in our area. A lot of times people think, well, it's somebody in a different state, a different country, but we've seen this in our area to where the money is being picked up. So we know it's happening in our area and these people are here. And so we have to do our due diligence. So people say, well, how do I stop this from happening? Well, number one, if you don't know who it is, if they're not giving any specifics, they're not giving any names, they can't provide any answers to your questions, hang the phone up, call your grandson or granddaughter, call your son or daughter, and verify that everything is okay. Because this is not how the process works. If you get arrested, the person makes the phone call. And the jail or police officers never take any money. You would have to go through a bail bondsman to start the process to release somebody from jail. So that's not how it works, but people just get so worked up. They think their grandson or granddaughter's in trouble, and sure, I'll throw this cash out. And guess what? That cash is gone.
And it's happening.
It is. It's happening. So this phone call happens every single day. every single day. That's not to say everybody falls victim of it. I'm glad you didn't, right? I was very glad to hear that yesterday when you told me this, right? But, you know, think about it. If they make 100 calls in one day and they get one person to give $1,000, that's their payday. This is becoming like an enterprise. Like, it's almost a business, right? Obviously, it's an illegitimate business. But, you know, there's employees, they're going and picking up money. I mean, we have a serious problem here. And the best thing we could do is educate people.
Well, that's the whole reason, okay? So what I'm thinking is this. You know, listening to the show, and we hear it all the time, and you can't talk enough. Because when you get that call, like you said, it's emotional, it's concerning, etc. Thank God my family's very close, so if anything would happen, we would have known immediately.
Right, right.
But however, for those people, okay, that when you're talking about a scam like that, maybe it's, well, what do you suggest a person should do if they get a call like that? Because if someone's coming to pick money up, okay, that means I got a target coming down,
Right.
okay, and maybe what I should do is play along with this person, call the state police, okay, call your troop up and tell them, look, I just scammed. I know it was scammed. I played along. I have to put $1,000 in my mailbox or whatever, and this is the story. Would that be a wise thing to do?
Well, here's the thing. So I want to say yes and no, Sam. And the reason why is because, you know, a lot of times this will happen quick, and they may say, you know, hey, we'll be there in 30 minutes to pick up the money. Now, number one, you don't want to put money in an envelope, real money in an envelope, if you know you're being scammed, right? Because if you contact us, you know,
Doesn't happen.
it doesn't happen immediately, right? So, like, we may not be able to get everybody deployed to the area where it needs to in that short amount of time. Obviously, we'll do what we can, but, you know, if we have a major case on our hands that we're currently working on, we might not have the operational needs for this. The best thing to do is contact us. Hang the phone up or say, can I get a callback number? Let me just go get the cash, and I'll call you when I have it. And now it buys you some time to call us instead of just saying, sure, come pick it up in an hour. The cash is in the mailbox.
Yeah, I got you.
Buy some time. Call us. Give us the number so we could set something up. We need to shut this down. This is something that's going to be happening. I mean, these scams, unfortunately.
Have you caught anyone?
On this specific scam?
Yeah.
No.
Wow.
No, because typically what happens is people don't realize they're being scammed until after the fact. So now we contact the numbers that were given and they're not answering. Because see, a lot of times scammers know if they do this and they think they get away with it, but now the person's calling them back again, they know that they contacted the police. So typically, people who are being scammed, they don't realize it until after, which is why the education portion of this, like what we do, the presentations that I do all throughout the community, is to alleviate that, is to try to get people to not become a victim.
Well, that's the key. I mean, the thing is that you want to get them, you know, so once they start, if they're getting away with it,
right?
Okay, the best thing is say, hang up.
Right.
Yes, that's the best thing. But in the same token, I'd like to get that person who is ripping so many people off,
right.
Okay? And here again, what do you recommend doing then?
People can get as much information from these scammers as they can. If they know they're being scammed.
How about the number they call you at?
They could say, hey, your number came up on my caller ID. Is that a good number to call you back? Because a lot of times it's what's called a spoofing number. So it's just computer hardware that it's a program that they use to develop phone numbers that come up for the Hazleton area. So it looks like it's a local number, right? So they could say, hey, can I get a good callback number or an email because I'm going to go try to put the cash together and I'll call you back. So this way we can maybe have a better contact information. But right then and there, typically like these scammers, they're given information. Like if they start asking questions or if they ask to call you back, they'll probably hang the phone up at that point. Which again, we want them caught too. We want them arrested. But as long as you're not becoming a victim, that's a win. Yeah,
it's disturbing. I'm sure you could write a book on the number of people.
Unfortunately, yes. And the sad part is it's not going anywhere. You know, as technology advances, it becomes easier for these scammers to use that technology to scam people out.
You would think, though, as I opened the show saying we're compassionate people. And, you know, but when you're talking about, this was the person himself that says, this is, you know, your grandson.
Sure.
Okay. And, you know, right off the bat, I knew, you know, et cetera. But
right.
When somebody else calls, says, you know, this is Trooper Smith or whatever, officer, whatever, you're in that state where you don't know what to do. Okay,
Sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's sad. So the best thing is just hang up.
Hang up the phone. Don't entertain it. Again, as soon as you hang up, call your loved ones and make sure that everything's okay. And I guarantee you'll be happy that you did. Just do a little homework in, take a couple deep breaths, and you'll get through it just fine.
Do they do random columns, or do they know, okay, who they're calling?
They'll just generate phone numbers. You can use technology to be able to generate phone numbers. Like if you say, I want to look in the Hazleton area, right? So it will generate 459 numbers, and it will show, and then you could just look up to see. But what they do is they ask you, because again, they're just generating random numbers, and they'll ask you, okay, tell us the good address that we could come pick the money up. Yeah. And then they'll just Google that address, get directions right to it, drive up, pick up the money, and be on their way. It's sad and scary. It's sad because people should be enjoying. They prey on senior citizens. Right?
Big time.
Prey on senior citizens because they know grandchild is the magic word. Yeah. That's the magic word, right? And so grandparents, senior citizens should be enjoying the golden years of their life and not be scammed out of the hard-earned money that they work for.
They have enough going for them in this
absolutely.
country. They have enough problems going, right, that they need that. Folks, I'm talking to Trooper Anthony Petroski, who is the Public Information Officer at Troop N. Do a great job, my friends. They do a great job. Now, if you'd like to have a presentation of your club or whatever, call the barracks, the troop, 570-459-3900. His extension is 216. It's on the screen. He'll come and do a presentation on scams. We come back, we'll talk about a couple more scams. I'm learning some things about these scams I didn't even know about. We'll be back right after this. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show, folks. Well, I want to thank you for making the Sam Lesante Show the #1 talk show in northeastern Pennsylvania. And for those of you who participated in the scientific poll by Susquehanna Polling and Research, which incidentally was voted the #1 pollster in the state of Pennsylvania, who participated, I appreciate that. And of course, we're very happy to have the Pottsville Republican Herald as our media sponsor, as well as the standard speaker. They're great papers. My guest today is Trooper Anthony Petroski, Public Information Officer for Troop N, talking about scams. If you just tuned in, I highly advise you to watch the show again. We talked about the loved one scam. I got hit by that. Didn't participate, but they tried to get me. So we're talking about some other scams, phone scams.
Very common, right?
Yeah.
Very common. Everybody has a phone. Everybody has a smartphone.
Yeah.
And these phone scams, they've been happening for a long time. We could reference the IRS phone scam, right? And the IRS phone scam is when somebody calls you and says, we're with the IRS, you owe money in your back taxes, but we'll let that go if you just make a one-time payment of $500 or you pay $200 worth of gift cards, right? They'll make this offer which is not accurate at all. Or they may say, we're withholding your tax return until you pay this amount. Now, one thing you need to know about the IRS, and this is very, very clear and precise, they do not call you on the phone. The IRS will not call you on the phone to say that you owe money in taxes or they're withholding your tax return. They simply don't do it. So any of those phone calls you get claiming to be from the IRS simply is a scam. But unfortunately, especially around tax return time, right? Tax season, people get nervous. Do your homework into it. Go on the website. You will know when the IRS reaches out to you. You will get a certified letter that is extremely legitimate, and you will know it is official. They don't call on the phone.
Once again, my friends, hang up. Other phone scams.
Other phone scams, right? Let's talk about soliciting, because I get a lot of people that ask me and say, hey, I got a call the other day saying it was from the state police, Fraternal Lodge, or the State Troopers Association that they are soliciting money. We don't do that. We simply do not do that. State police does not. We don't make phone calls asking for money. Simply don't do that. Now, 20, 30 years ago, a lot of places did it legitimately over the phone. That's not the case anymore. A lot of municipal police, people will say, oh, you know, I like to give to my municipal police. Do they make phone calls? I would say no. But there's an easy way to find out, right? Call them directly. Go down to the police department. If you plan on giving to their organization, go there directly. you know your money's in safe hands if you're giving it to them directly or whichever association is calling you. But to simply give account numbers over the phone, credit cards over the phone, right? I mean, that's dangerous stuff. That's exactly what these scammers want. And if they ask any time to pay for something using a gift card, meaning go to the nearest gas station, purchase a $50 Visa gift card, scratch off the back and read me the numbers, that's a scam. Why? Because gift cards are not traceable. Now, if somebody takes your credit card, Sam, right? Law enforcement, the credit card company, we could track where that credit card is, where it's being used. Gift cards, not traceable. That's why scammers will ask to be paid using gift cards, because we cannot find out where they were used.
Other phone scams?
The phone scams, they continue to pile up, right? So on top of the soliciting, a lot of times you'll get phone scams saying that they're selling something. Hey, we have this product for sale. It's like a one-time offer. We're offering this. This is not something that happens anymore. I mean, you could buy anything you want online, okay? Anything you want online. But if somebody's calling you, offering you to sell you something at a low price, I mean, how often does that happen, right? It doesn't. That's because it's a scam. People simply want your credit card information. That's it. All they're doing is writing it down or entering it on a website, and now they're making purchases before you're even off the phone with them. And that's the ultimate goal. There's online scams too. Let's transition from some phone scams to some online scams.
No, let's stay on phone scams.
You want to stay on phone scams?
Only for a minute.
Okay.
I'm embarrassed to tell you this story.
Oh, no.
My son's laughing. I'm embarrassed. Folks, this is a true story, okay? Here I am, college degree, MBA from Temple. You think you're smart, you know what I could do with my MBA degree. I get a call at 1 o'clock in the afternoon from someone who's soliciting about Amazon. Okay, I'm calling about Amazon, you know, etc. And whatever it was, the free this, and I happen to have Amazon Prime. And I was having a concern about Amazon Prime. I had a question I wanted to ask them. I said, yeah, I'm glad you called because I have a question about the Amazon Prime, etc., etc. He said, well, let me switch it to our technical bit. So the technical person come on, and he said, okay, he said, wait, he said, we're looking at your account here. He said, you know, someone's trying to hack into your Prime account, you know, and you may have a problem with this, where, you know, and I said, well, geez, what's going on? So they had me convinced that I was being hacked because it seemed so legitimate, all right? Got to the point where I had to take the Amazon app, okay, we'll take it off so we don't have it anymore, et cetera. So I'm just proceeding to do that. And they said, well, I'm on cable. And they said, well, okay. I said, so I said, is Mr. Trentley there? Who is Tim is the, and well, we're working. And so he said, well, what cable company are we talking about? So your Service Electric Cable, yes. And they're located here, right? Okay, but I said, is Tim Trentley there? You know, we don't, you know, so I start realizing that even before I went a step further, they wanted to give me the routing number. Right. So they said, and I thought, yeah, so I only went so far. I said, wait a second. If I didn't know it was, you know, Tim, asked for Tim, because it didn't seem right when we talk about it. So, of course, I'm called Sammy and Jadine, and said, my wife says, you know, I said, well, I got hooked here, okay? So no matter, that's why I said I'm embarrassed to tell you, but that's what, you know, happened to me, okay?
But you said it seemed legitimate, right? So some of these scammers, they do their research. They know what they're talking about, or at least they could fake it over the phone that they know what they're talking about, and that's why it can be so confusing. And do you know why they picked Amazon?
Why?
Because if you walk down the street and ask 9 out of 10 people if they have an Amazon account, they're going to say, yeah. It's the most common, Amazon and Walmart.com accounts, right? They're the most common accounts that people can have, and that's why they go after them.
Well, let's go on to the online now.
Online scams to include email scams, right? It's very easy to take a logo off of the internet, type up an email that says, I'm from M&T Bank, there's problems with your account, call this number to verify some information. And you put the nice little M&T logo on the bottom, or whichever bank, and you send it, right? And so a lot of times people will look and see who it came from, and you could change that. So if I send you an email from my address, it's going to come from Anthony Petroski. But if I wanted to, I could change that to say it came from M&T Bank. And so these scammers know that, and they could change that. There's a way to look into it, though. So where it says from, whether it's on your phone or on a computer, you could click on that. and it will bring a little drop-down box, and it will actually show the real email address that it came from. So if it's not from an Amazon email, if it's not from an M&T Bank email account, it's from some sort of Gmail or Yahoo, you know it's a scam. It's not official. So we need to start looking into this, because they want you to call that number and say, you know, hey, we're glad you called. This is Sarah from M&T Bank. Verify your social security number.
Oh my God.
And your banking account number.
Wow.
Right? And so you verify it. You're just giving the information away.
Wow.
And now they'll say, you know what?
Wow.
All right, we're going to work on this problem right now. You'll get a call back within the hour to know that your account's
Oh,
okay.
my God.
And guess what? Now they have your social security number. Now they have your bank account number.
Oh my God.
It's that easy, right? People, we have to not worry about what's going on right in front of us, right? So like this is happening on the phone. Say, wait a second, I was just at the bank last week. There was no issue. I just used my bank card yesterday. There's no issue. Hang the phone up. And if you're concerned, call your bank directly.
So when they send you that email, okay, and there's sometimes, you know, because they look so legitimate.
Sure they do.
Okay?
Yeah.
Will they tell you to call, or sometimes they ask you to email back?
They may ask you to call, they may ask you to email back, or there may be a hyperlink in that email that they want you to click on. Now the thing about that hyperlink is it's underlined and it's blue. So you can click on it with your finger if it's on your phone, or click on it with your mouse on a laptop, okay? And that's going to take you to another website. It's very easy to create your own website. So that website may have certain logos on it. You may think it's legitimate, but all you're doing is entering information for that website owner to steal. It's tough. We have to do our homework. We have to do our due diligence and reach out to these facilities directly before we go giving or verifying any information.
That seems to me to be one of the effective ones, because you got emails and
Sure.
you know, it looks so legitimate. It's
You figure I'll just type this and be done and move on with the rest of my day.
Oh my
right?
God.
Yeah.
It's amazing, my friends. Why don't they just go and get a job like everybody else does to earn a living? We come back. There's one other scam. It's called romance scandals. This is interesting. Stay with us. Welcome back to the Sam Lesante Show, folks. Thanks for tuning us in. We're talking about scams today. Trooper Anthony Petroski, who is the Public Information Officer for Troop N, is here talking about scams. And believe me, if you just tuned in, you want to watch the show, go to YouTube or go to our website. It's very informative. It can save you a lot of aggravation and most especially your money. A number of scandals. This one is called romance scandals.
Yes.
Now this is new to me.
So, right. So this is very interesting, or sometimes it's referred to as the sweetheart swindle. And so scammers are realizing that a lot of people, particularly senior citizens, are going on these dating apps. Okay, and there's tons of them. Websites, apps that you can download for your phone, and they're looking for somebody to connect with, whether it's to date or it's just to have conversations with, right? And what they'll do is they'll put a picture up of somebody like in the same age bracket as their victim that they're going to go after, and they'll start chatting. Good conversations. Hey, how are you? This will go on for weeks, if not months. Then all of a sudden, it will stop. And so then that person's sending messages. Hey, is everything okay? Is everything? Finally, the scammer will get back to the person and say, I'm so sorry, I'm lost my job, or I'm about to lose my job. I'm trying to make ends meet with bills. You know, it's cold out, I can't afford heat. You know, I have a daughter or a son, we're trying to make ends meet. Trying to put this story on, and then the person thinks, well, you know, you're my friend now, or, you know, we're connecting, we're gonna meet eventually, or date, get married. So they start sending money. Start sending checks. Hey, I can help you out. Oh, you don't have to. No, I'd like to. You can pay me back when you get back on your feet. And now it's a couple $100, couple $1,000s, into tens of thousands of dollars. And now, once they get that money from you, that account's going to be gone. They're not going to answer anymore, and you're now out of that money.
That's actually going on.
This is happening. This is happening all over the country. This is happening in Pennsylvania. This is happening in our area, and people aren't even realizing it because they think, I'm connecting with this person. I'm enjoying the conversation. And particularly they go after senior citizens because they think they might be widowed, living alone, nobody else to talk to. They're enjoying this conversation, and that's how they fall victim to it.
Boy, you know, Tony, it's amazing that you have to be so careful today. And, you know, especially they prey on these poor seniors that, you know, worked all their lives to try to do that. Just as we say, my friends, become educated. Now, if you'd like Tony to come, Trooper Petroski to come to your place for a presentation, just call the barracks for I keep saying barracks. Okay,
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
See, I'm old school. 570-459-3900. His extension is 216, and he'll be more than happy to come out, arrange a meeting to talk about these scams. We want to educate you. We want to educate you, my friends. It's tough, it's difficult, but you know, if you're unsure about something, don't do it. You know, if you're having a conversation with someone, just if you want to talk, fine. Just keep it conversational. Every time someone says, you know, we had those friends many years of phonies, you know, they become, then could you lend me this? Could you lend me that kind of stuff. Let me tell you something, Trooper. I have the greatest praise for the Pennsylvania State Troopers.
We appreciate that.
I mean that sincerely. They work hard, and I wouldn't want to be a cop today, believe me, because it's you when you get up in the morning, you don't know what wacko you're going to see, and when you come home to see your two children.
Right.
And I applaud you for that.
Yeah,
Any law
that.
enforcement, our local municipality, police people, policemen and policewomen, they're all out there trying to do their best.
Absolutely.
And there's crazies out there.
Sure there are.
You know, and I'm sure you've seen in the last number of years some of your friends or troopers who have been shot, killed.
Sure. It's an unfortunate part of the job, but you know what? We're going to keep doing it, and we appreciate the support.
Yeah. I mean that sincerely.
Yeah,
you know, we're always here to help you. Okay, folks, remember, if you just tune in, I highly recommend listening to the show. Go to YouTube, go to our website, ssptv.com. Under shows / you'll see Trooper Petroski. We'll see you next time.